So that's one way to definitely save on nutrient costs. But I mean, what it depends on the product. I definitely would say to. I've heard that before also as a rule to just use half. For me, um, it's hard to say. You really need to just kind of do your experiment, see what the plants are doing, and try to cut back and see what happens.
And what about? Have you tried maybe every other watering use a nutrient, or what
That's a
signs?
rule of. Oh, excuse me.
No,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I mean, that's a rule of thumb for me. I water every other when I'm using bottled nutrients. We're moving more and more towards these high yield soils, just add water mentality. But as you're yeah, when you're using liquid nutrients, for me, it's every other watering.
Mm-hmm.
Because you really you don't want to have a lot of these nutrients are filled with humic acid, fulvic acid, even in organic growing, which can kind of have some salt buildup in your soils.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to really flush well, and every other watering with regular water. And I like to overwater by about 10% so that I can kind of get the water leaching out of my pots
Mm-hmm.
or whatever medium you're using. So that way you're kind of flushing every watering any mineral or salt deposits that might be down in the bottom of your root zone.
So let's say you're growing in a 20-gallon, fabric smart pot. That watering that you're talking about, overwatering it, how many gallons would you say you'd be putting into a 20-gallon smart pot of water?
I mean, a 20 gallon, I imagine probably something like 4 gallons per watering.
Uh huh. Okay.
For me, I don't usually go quite that big, maybe for some mothers and stuff. Um, so, I mean, for a 7 gallon, I usually use between 1.5 and 2 gallons of water.
Okay.
And it depends on your soil medium also. I think the key is just to see that when you're watering with nutrients, without whatever you're doing, to have a little bit of excess coming out the bottom of your pot
Mm-hmm.
to kind of make sure you might be flushing out any excess mineral or salt deposits.
So also, how do you feel about hydroponics as a system for growing? I've seen some really great results.
I agree with you completely. I know a handful of hydroponic growers in my area who are using organic methods and are using kind of the similar principles, microlife in their water that they're using. For me, it's like it's an oxymoron or something, hydroponic and organic, because the very idea of organic is it's coming from the earth,
Mm-hmm.
it's grown in soil. I never personally grew anything hydroponically. I use an aeroponic cloning system, which is a kind of a hydroponic system because we're using that uh, similar idea, but soil grown, I've always found has the best taste, the most distinct flavor, and is able to kind of allow the plants to express themselves true to their genetics.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really why I've always stuck with it. I've been a landscaper in my day job for the past 10 years, and I've planted thousands of trees, perennials, annuals. Soil life has always been a big part of what I do, and the hydroponic guys are doing a great job. I never messed with it personally.
Mm-hmm. And you're in the midst right now of getting set up in Colorado for Ants Organics, which you're going to have a business that is going to supply, I guess, wholesale cannabis to. Is it just medical dispensaries or rec as well?
Actually, just recreational for the moment.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't want to limit myself to the people. These medical card holders in Colorado are already educated. They've been through the system. They got their card. They went to the doctor. They know what they're looking for. And there's a lot of good organic growers that exist in that medical world right now in Colorado. For me, The recreational side just allows me to offer what we're doing to everyone, to Joe Schmo, his neighbor, people who might not be as educated. We want to offer it to everybody so that they have the same chance as everyone
Hmm.
else to get that high quality organic product. And the
So,
medical side, go ahead.
no, I was just going to ask. So, you're going to be growing indoors. Are you using a greenhouse system or just totally indoors with lights?
Totally indoors with lights right now. As we move forward, we definitely want to branch into the medical side, and hopefully, the greenhouse technology has improved vastly over the past few years and continues to get better every day. And something I'm paying a lot of attention to, and I want to use down the road.
Mm-hmm.
What we're doing indoors right now is kind of creating conditions that are very controllable. That I know that I can do what I need to do in. And a couple things we're doing to try to um, kind of change the indoor philosophy is use some alternative lighting, which is using a little less power. Um,
So
as
you're talking about LED, or you were telling me earlier LEC. What did you say? LEC?
Yeah, an LEC. It stands for light emitting ceramic. So basically, these are new generation metal halide bulbs, and this
Aha.
is another thing actually that the Rev kind of talks about. Um, the metal halide bulbs traditionally have more blue in their spectrum, so they have traditionally been used mostly in a vegetative cycle. With these newer bulbs, what we're finding is that they're creating a full spectrum where they have far red and far blue, as well as the middle hues as well. And another thing that they're doing is there's a little a kind of, I guess, industry jargon. It's called CCT, color correlation temperature.
Hmm.
And something that I've learned over the past couple of years is that when you're using your bulbs, it doesn't necessarily have everything to do with the amount of lumens. It's more about PAR, which is photosynthetic active radiation. And what they're doing is they're firing these bulbs at a specific Kelvin temperature, which is most photosynthetically active for a plant. So scientifically, it's the most effective form of light that you can put on a plant canopy. And I'm just learning about this stuff myself, but we've done some tests, and I feel like these bulbs are off the charts.
Hmm.
They really improve resin content, and for a 600-watt output rather than a 1,000-watt output, we're actually doing similar or better numbers as far as grams are concerned, but the resin content is also increased, which is really what we're after.
Absolutely, especially if you're making extracts, that would be really, really important to have a good resin production because garbage in, garbage out. What's your thoughts about LEDs? Now, a friend of mine gave me one to try out, do some experimenting with, and I had some problems at the beginning. What's your feeling about that? I know that when I started moving the plant, sort of not directly underneath it, but to the outskirts, and keeping the moist, the humidity to around 30% and lowering the temperature, they seem to be doing better. But what are your thoughts on LEDs at this point?
I've spent thousands of dollars on LEDs in the past because I'm a big fan of trying to reduce the electrical usage, um, use more far blue and far red in the spectrum. I have never personally been able to get the yields that I was after with LEDs. They worked really great for me in the vegetative cycle. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I found that I could get shorter internodal spacing as far as the spacing between buds.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Do you?
Excellent vegetative growth. And when I did flower with them, I got very high quality flower, but not the yield I was after.
Mm-hmm.
In my research on LEDs and trying to use uh, a less powerful light or a less energy consuming light, that's how I came across the LECs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the LEC is a very happy medium for people who are after high yields, lower electrical consumption, and a broader spectrum to the for the plants. I have heard that there's new LED technology out there, and I got to see a little of these. The one light that I've looked at particularly is called I think it was called an HP4 S4. I maybe I'm throwing stuff out here that's not correct, but it's a digital chip rather than an LED bulb, which is producing a very similar color to sunlight rather than the typical like LEDs I've used in the past, which kind of look like a toy store light or something like that. You know,
there's
they
sort
look
of kind of there seems to be a lot of red in regular LEDs as opposed to a white light. Do you find that?
yeah, but yeah, it's something cool they're doing. I mean, traditionally, that's what I've seen. What you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
There's some new LED technology out there that people are claiming are getting towards those HPS yields. I'm looking forward to trying them out. I haven't had the opportunity to
Mm-hmm.
yet.
As a legal personal medical grower, you know, for myself, I have a license here in New Mexico. I would always go for quality over yield any day of the week. But I do understand that people that are in business of selling cannabis, that the yield is very, very important. So when do you expect to be up and running in Colorado? And you know, before when you open up there, give us a call back and let's talk about your opening and so forth. So when do you expect to be Ants Organics to be up and going?
We're hoping to be growing in the next 3 to 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
The building is on its way. But that's really the spot I'm in right now. I expected to be up and running months ago, but as I'm finding out, you know, everything in the construction world takes a little longer than we'd like it to, but we're having the opportunity to really dial in the way we want things. And so to take a little extra time now, I feel fortunate to have the opportunity. So this summer we'll be putting products on shelves, we hope,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the plan.
So you're going to be a wholesaler. You'll be distributing to dispensaries. You're not going to have a dispensary at this point of your own. Is that correct?
No, we won't have a dispensary at this point, but one thing we want to do is work with edibles companies, um, dispensaries, anybody who needs trim.
Mm-hmm.
We have sought after the manufacturing infused products license, so that would allow us to create concentrates.
That was my next
So
question: was were you going to go into the MIPS industry and do your own extractions and so forth?
we're gonna do our own extractions. I'm not gonna be making edibles myself, brownies, anything like that. There's a lot of people out there who are experts
Mm-hmm.
in that field. What we want to be able to do is supply those people with the highest quality organic material that they could put in their products.
Fantastic. Well, give out
So
your contact information so if people want to, take a trip up to Colorado later on this summer, then maybe they can know where to go to get some of your recreational cannabis. Give out your website and anything you want to give out.
yeah, www.antsorganic.com is up and running right now. We don't have a ton of information on there because, like I said, we're in the process. We're getting everything going. So real soon here, we'll have some strain lists on there, concentrates information. We're on Facebook with Ants Organic and Instagram at ants_organic. So a couple places to keep a lookout for us. And
Well, Anthony,
yeah,
I appreciate you being a guest tonight. It was very enlightening to me about organics and this new You said LEC is the name of this new light, right? So
yes, sir. And if you're doing anything indoors, give it a shot. It creates very low ambient heat, so much easier to control your rooms. There's no glass on the hoods because of that, so you're not blocking any UV rays by using glass. Lots of beneficial things, and I really appreciate you having me. It's been really nice talking to you.
would love to have you back anytime you want to talk about anything. Thank you, Anthony.
Alrighty, thank you.
Take
Have a
care,
nice
my
day.
friend. It's great to have Anthony on, someone who's trying to do things right and give us a natural high. We'll be right back.
Take me in your arms, thrill me with all of your charm, and I'll take to the sky on a natural high, loving you more till the day I die. Take to the sky on a natural high, loving you more. If you have anything to do, call me and I will do it for you. And I don't even know you. Hey, gee. If I only had one wish to gauge, that wish would be for you to live forever and ever. When I see you on the street, my heart skips a beat, and I take to the sky. I just take to the sky, loving you more till the day I die. Take to the sky on a natural high, loving you I'm gonna try to do all the things you want me to, if you just give me a chance. I'm trying to make something out of nothing, and I don't even know you. Take me in your arms.
Thank you, Anthony from Ants Organics. Very enlightening about growing organically. And we'll be back next week with another great show, a great guest. We're going to talk about testing of contaminants and other things in cannabis. And we're going to have a great scientist on, Russell, who will help us talk about that. I want to thank my two radio mentors, both with the initials HS. Thank you for your inspiration. And thanks for all your entertainment, too. Don't forget, if you want to listen to replays on my website, MMJRadio.com, on timeforhemp.com, on Spreaker, on iHeartRadio, on the Roku box, it's the US Weed channel, and on the internet on Pothead Radio, Pothead Universe Radio, you can catch the replays, and also 420radio.org. 420radio.org plays our shows once a week there as well. Don't forget my little short Wednesdays with Larawana every Wednesday on canawanabuy.com. Canawanabuy.com. Wednesdays with Larawana.
Shalom.